In the heart of the 11th century, amidst the turmoil and shifting sands of Central Asia, a new power was about to emerge. Born from the steppes of the Turkic world, the Seljuk Empire would rise to become one of the greatest superpowers of the medieval era, forging an indelible mark on history. Founded by Seljuk Bey, this empire was built on the principles of military prowess and strategic dominance. The Seljuks, initially a tribe of fierce warriors, transformed into a formidable force that challenged the mightiest powers of their time, reshaping the political and military landscape of the medieval world. From the deserts of Persia to the hills of Anatolia, the Seljuk warriors left an indelible mark on the history of warfare, influencing the tactics and strategies of future generations. This is the history of the Seljuks. Before the Seljuk Empire was established, the situation in Asia was as follows. Sometime after the Uyghur state was destroyed by the Kyrgyz in 840, the Karahanid state was established with Kashgar as its capital. After Seljuk Khan converted to Islam, the Karahanids also converted to Islam and went down in history as the great Turkish Islamic state. As a result of the effective activities of the four sons of Samanid Asad as Abbasid governors in various cities of Mawara al-Nahr, the foundations of Samanid rule in the region began to be laid. The Samanid state was established during the reign of Nasr bin Ahmad, after it was officially recognized by the Abbasid Caliphate. During the reigns of the later rulers, the borders of the state expanded considerably in the north, south, east and west directions. Mawara al-Nahr and Khorasan were taken under control, and small local emirates in these regions were subordinated to the Samanids. The Ghaznavids were a Turkish state that emerged during the disintegration of the Samanid state. The foundations of this state, which was initially subordinate to the Samanid state, were laid with the great efforts of Alptekin, the commander-in-chief of the Khorasan armies of the Samanids. Sebüktekin, a Samanid governor whom Alptekin trusted very much, strengthened the foundations of the independent Ghaznavid state, and soon expanded its sphere of dominance into Baluchistan, Toharistan and Zamindavar, and finally to Peshawar. Later, during the reign of Sultan Mahmud, the Ghaznavids became independent and were officially recognized by the Abbasid Caliphate. The Abbasid Caliphate was gradually weakening. In the 9th century, the political unity of the Caliphate began to unravel. In the meantime, a branch of the Umayyad dynasty established an independent government in Spain. North Africa was cut off from the center, and an independent state was established in Egypt by the Tulunids. In Mawara al-Nahr and Khorasan, the Tahirids, Samanids and Saifarids separated from the Caliphate and became independent states. Thus, the Abbasid Caliphate's rule, except in Iraq, was virtually destroyed. The Shiite Fatimid Caliphate, established in Egypt and North Africa, became a threat to the Sunni Abbasid Caliphate by dominating the country stretching from the Red Sea to the Atlantic Ocean. Finally, the Shiite Buyids, who were established and expanded in Iran and Iraq, invaded Baghdad during the reign of Caliph al-Mustakfi and took over the government. One of the great states of the Middle East was the Fatimid state. This state was established in North Africa with the great efforts of Abu Abdullah Hussein bin Ahmed and Abu Muhammad Ubaidullah Mehdi, known as Shiite from the Ismaili dais. In fact, during the reigns of Mu'izz li-Dinillah and his son Aziz Billah, the borders of the state included countries stretching from the Red Sea to the Atlantic Ocean. During Mustansir's long reign, the Fatimids were at their most powerful and always posed a danger and threat to the Sunnis. In the 10th century, the Oghuz lived in the region between the Seyhun River, the eastern Caspian Sea, and Lake Aral. To the west of the Oghuz were the Khazars and Bulgarians, to the east the Karluks, to the north the Kipchaks, and to the south the Islamic world. In the early 10th century, the Oghuz state was headed by a ruler bearing the title of Yabgu. Dukak, known as the ancestor of the Seljuks, held an important political and military position after Yabgu. After Dukak's death, his son Seljuk, at the age of 18, was appointed army commander by Yabgu and became the head of the Kinnik tribe. Seljuk, who was raised as a good soldier and politician, became famous in the Yabgu state in a short time. The state officials who were jealous of Seljuk's rise influenced Yabgu's wife. Thus, Yabgu's wife convinced Yabgu that Seljuk would be dangerous for him and encouraged him to eliminate him. Thus, Yabgu turned against Seljuk. Fearing that he would be killed, Seljuk left the Yenikent region with his family members and the Oghuz of the Kinnik tribe, and traveled to Gent, a border city where Islamic and Turkic countries met. This migration of Seljuk is recorded in the sources as from Turan to Iran and from Darul Harb to the land of Islam. Seljuk soon dominated the city of Gent and established a small principality. The city of Gent was close to the Islamic world, and Islam was spreading rapidly here. The reason why I have come this way is for a good deed. It is to enter the path of the people of Islam and to accept Islam. Now we wish that one of the leading jurists and scholars would be sent here to teach us the Quran and the truths of faith and Islam. May he lead the wanderers who have lost their way in the desert to the fountain of guidance. After their migration to Gent, Seljuk and his tribe converted to Islam. This event is an important turning point in both Seljuk history and Turkish Islamic history. Seljuk then expelled the tax officials of the Yabgu state from the city of Gent, saying, "Muslims do not pay taxes to infidels." He then started a jihad against the Oghuz Yabgu and his infidel compatriots. Because of these struggles, he was given the title of Ghazi Seljuk. In one of these battles, Seljuk's son Mikhail was murdered. Mikhail's remaining sons Turul and Charbais were carefully raised by their grandfather Seljuk. These two men were the brothers who would found the great Seljuk state years later. In the first phase of this principality founded by Seljuk in Gent, there were three large Muslim states, two of which were Turkish. The first of these was the Karakhanids, a Turkish state on the eastern border of the Islamic world. The other Turkish state was the Ghaznavid state, which ruled over what is now Afghanistan. The third big state in the east was the Samanid state. The Abbasid Caliphate in the south existed in name, but political affairs were in the hands of the branch of the Buyid state that ruled Iraq. After establishing a principality in Gent, Seljuk showed everyone that he had an important power in the region as a result of his expeditions. His fame reached the Samanids, who were struggling against the Karakhanids in Mawara Nahr. The Samanids asked Seljuk for help against the Karakhanids, and in return, they gave them the town of Nur near Bukhara as a homeland. Thus, Seljuk's eldest son Arslan came to the town of Nur with the Oghuz under his command. The year was 992. The Samanid ruler Nuh II, after the Karakhanid ruler Harun Burakhan captured the capital Bukhara, fled the city and appealed to Seljuk for help. Seljuk sent a force under the command of his son Arslan to help the Samanids and save them from this situation. Burak Khan was forced to withdraw from Bukhara due to illness and the arrival of the Oghuzes under Arslan's command. Thereupon, Nuh II, who had retaken Bukhara, united with the Oghuzes and attacked the retreating Karakhanids and defeated their rearguard. Despite the support of the Seljuks, the Samanids were defeated in 999 and lost their capital Bukhara again. Abdul Malik II, the last ruler of the Samanids, and other members of the dynasty were sent to the Karakhanid capital of Özkent and arrested. Thus the Seljuks lost their ally, the Samanids, and were left alone. After a while, Ismail Muntasir managed to escape from his imprisonment and marched with Arslan to recapture Bukhara. Shortly afterwards, he was defeated again by the army of Nasir Khan, the Karakhanid leader, and had to retreat from Bukhara. Ismail Muntasir, who received new forces from Arslan, defeated Ilik Nasir Khan near Samarkand, but this success did not last long. In the same year, Ilik Nasir Khan came with new forces and defeated Ismail Muntasir. The Samanid ruler who wanted to flee to Bukhara was captured and sent to Özkent, but he was killed by the chief of one of the Arab tribes near Merv. Thus, the hope of reviving the Samanid state was over. Finally, in 1007, Seljuk Bey, the ancestor of the Seljuks, died at the age of 100. After losing their allies the Samanids, the Seljuks were stuck in Central Asia in a very difficult situation. Undoubtedly, very difficult times awaited the Seljuks.